Being from a first world nation can be extremely boring. And with boredom, we end up causing our own problems. But let me help you. Let me tell you a little bit of what I'm doing to beat the boredom. Let's get it. What's going on, Solutioners, and welcome back to the Solutions Podcast. As always, I am your host, Ramsey. And on this episode, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of update on what is going on with my life and how I'm choosing to deal with the struggles of it. Well, where should I begin? So, some of y'all, if you've been following or if you know me, you know that I'm still serving in the military as we speak, and I've been called to deploy. Now, I am from the type that is used to doing all kinds of hero stuff, right? And for me, this is not one of those deployments. I am here as special staff, meaning I'm doing one of those jobs that I'm pretty much self-working, work on my own time, on my own schedule. And it's really more of a background type of job. It's not really being out there and doing all the stuff that I'm used to doing. So it's a little bit tough. I'm not gonna lie, trying to beat the boredom. So where I'm at is an extremely, let's just call it, it's an extremely rural and urban location. That might be the right way of saying it, but it's a very small post. It's a very small base, and there ain't much to do. I'm not going to lie. There is nothing to do, and based on being a staff member for this mobilization, I don't know. It's tough. Trying to beat the boredom is definitely a hard task. So with the time, right? Everybody gets to do what they want with their time. You can either choose to slow down and stop your own progression, or you could choose to get past it. So the reason why I started with talking about being from a first world country and how things get boring. Well, if you look at the United States, right? The United States, a first world country, is supposed to be the example for everybody else to follow, but internally we seem to be tearing apart. We got people fighting over nothing. We're fighting over emotions, and it's crazy. And what a lot of people fail to realize, that the United States is being looked at as an example from a lot of people and a lot of different coalition forces and a lot of different countries. They want to be like us, or what they believe we were. So I try to set the best example that I can, but I have noticed there's a difference between how we conduct business in the United States and outside of it. Outside of it, we have a different standard to uphold. And I will say the things that we fight and argue about amongst each other and that we fight in the news, it's non-existent. Nobody really cares about that kind of stuff. And I'm finding out the hard way. My job is to, can I say it? Well, I'm the equal opportunity advisor, right? And I will tell you, out here, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Is it right? Is it wrong? Is it indifferent? I don't know. So going through my previous deployments, I always noticed that kind of stuff never seemed to be an issue, because we were always focused on the mission in hand. We didn't really care about what anybody looked like next to us, or we only really cared about what they can actually do. And I think that type of mentality kind of helped and helps, so we can be the better version of ourselves. Like, we didn't care if it was a black, yellow, white person next to us, male or female, none of that stuff. If they're gay, straight, we only cared about putting the mission in hand. And one thing that I have noticed while being out here, it seems to be the same dynamic. So I'm pretty much out of a job as far as here, which is good, right? That's the main thing, that we want to ensure that we're having minimal issues with those type of things. And that's my whole purpose out here for now. So now let's get into the purpose of this episode. So the purpose of this episode is to talk a little bit about a thing called the 75-day hard challenge. Why am I talking about that? Is because that is what I'm currently working on in order to beat the boredom. When people are bored, all you can do is scroll. All you can do is lay down, sleep extra, or you can use the time to better heal yourself, better improve yourself. And how to do that? Well, I'm starting hard like the guard. I am starting with the 75-day hard challenge. So let's talk a little bit about that. What is the 75 hard challenge? Well, it's 75 days long. Let's begin with that. It was created by Andy Frisella. The challenge aims to build mental toughness through a set of daily routines that include 2 workouts a day, a strict diet, and other lifestyle changes. It's all done over a 75-day period. It's quite a commitment, and it's been reported to bring out some transformative results. Let's begin with some of the rules of this challenge, right? To start off with the physical aspect of it. So from the physical aspect of it, it begins with 2 45-minute workouts every day for over 2 months, right? For the 75 days. That includes 1 indoors and 1 outdoor. And the 1 outdoor is going to be regardless of how the weather is or any of that stuff. Means you got to do it rain, sleet, or snow. Go out there and get it, right? This is 2 45-minute workouts a day. With that, you're looking into probably losing some unwanted pounds that you didn't even know you wanted to lose. I'll tell you that for sure. Another great thing that comes with it is building up your stamina. Stamina is one of those things that's extremely important because I always tell people fatigue makes cowards of us all. And most people either go to the gym or go for a run, but they do not balance it. This is a great way to balance both, you know. You do your indoor workout with weights. You do your outdoor workout with cardio and running and calisthenics. This part of it is what is extremely challenging for most, right? Because your body will burn out, but it is extremely rewarding. How am I implementing this into my daily life, you may ask? Well, what I'm doing is I'm getting up in the morning. First thing is following my get shit done list that I talked about in another episode, which is I write everything down the day before of what I got to do. So the night before, I write everything down that I have to do. And so I wake up 4:30 every day, brush my teeth, change, take that pre-workout, and hit the weight room. That's the first workout. And my second workout, I will do it after work because I find doing weights after work is a little bit too difficult just because you're mentally just drained from either staring at the computer all day or whatever it is that you do. So I tend to try to do my weights in the morning and then my cardio in the evening, because with the cardio, you can always pump your own heart rate back up. You know, you're going at a pace, at your own pace, and you can raise it up or put it down however you choose to attack that situation. But yeah, so that's how I'm attacking it. I'm going weights in the morning, cardio in the evening. On to the next part of the challenge. So ever heard the saying, 6-packs are not made in the gym, they're made in the kitchen? Well, I completely disagree, but I do understand the importance of having a well-disciplined and strict diet. So the great man, Jocko Willink, he is a former Navy SEAL. You got to look him up. Jocko is actually Jocko, Willink, Willink. He's a former Navy SEAL, and he always talks about mental toughness and the challenge that it embodies it. So the diet part is very interesting. That's where most people seem to struggle because it is very hard to resist the temptation. And sticking to a diet, that's hard. That's hard because there's no one watching you. You're the only one watching you. You're the only one watching what you eat, and you're the one that's making that decision, and you're the one that's got to be honest with yourself. So with the diet, and it's tough. The diet is tough because you are now doing more than what you normally do in your daily base, and you're trying to more than likely consume less calories than what you normally do. So it's really difficult to try to make sure that you stick with that diet, but you have to do it. You have to do it because this is not just about a physical challenge, it's a mental challenge. And that's what's going to get you the results that you desire. 1, to get you mentally tough, and 2, to make you physically ready for anything. Because you go through that. And especially if you haven't gone through a lot of difficult things in your life, especially if you haven't gone through a lot of physical demanding things in your life, you go through that, you're going to see, I will say you'll be extremely proud of yourself. So how am I attacking it? So being where I'm at, I have to attack this in a very unique type of way. The way that I'm attacking this is just hitting the green label food. So the green label food, if for y'all that have served in the military, you know that when you go to a chow hall, there is a green, yellow, and red scale when it comes to the food. They all have different labels, right? The red meaning you shouldn't consume it or you should consume it very rarely. The yellow is moderate. And green, of course, is the best food that they can give you. Again, it's military food, so you get what you pay for, and we ain't paying for it. So let's just say that. But it's the thought that counts, right? I am trying. I'm doing my best in the environment that I'm currently in. So that is the way that I'm approaching this. And what's also messed up is that they do have a lot of goodies here, and I cannot touch them. So it's not easy. It's not easy, but it's going to be worth it. The next part of this challenge is having to read 10 pages of a self-motivational or self-development or a self-improvement book every single day. Let's be real. Some of us out there have not read a book since high school. If that, some of us Googled it, depending on where you're raised or when you were born or what was available to you. But let's be honest, a lot of people have not read a book in a very long time. So adding 10 pages a day can actually help close that gap. And the book that I'm currently working on is by 50 Cent, and it is called Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter. And what a lot of people believe or perceive of 50 Cent is that he's just a rapper or a thug, but the way that his mind works is very interesting. And you can tell by the way that he describes things, especially when it came to the beginning of his career and the way that he approaches different adventures, is that his mind is way past the streets. Very good book. Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter. Extremely recommended. And how I'm doing this, I'm reading the book before going to sleep. For me, even though it's good information and sometimes it keeps me up and I want to continue going, reading is naturally always been kind of boring for me. But I'm here and I'm doing it, and I'm going to continue doing it. And I do it right before going to sleep. And it actually helps. And last but not least, the next thing that you have to do is drink a gallon of water every single day. A lot of people struggle with that because it doesn't count if it's tea or if it's anything else. No, water is water. Water is clear. Drinking a gallon will definitely get you tired of water real fast. Lucky for me though, I always drink water. I'm a water drinker. Like I can go days without eating, but without drinking water, that's where I struggle. So this is actually one of the easiest parts of the challenge for me. Does that not mean that I have to pee all the time? Yes, it definitely does mean that. And out here, there's not a restroom anywhere. So there's some challenges with it, but that's I attack that one. That is natural for me. So I don't worry too much about this one. The other thing that is on this challenge, which that's the one thing that I am ignoring, is taking a selfie every single day. To me, that's just a little weird and a little bit of, we call it vanidoso in Spanish. I don't know what it's called in English. I think it's vain. I believe it's vain. I don't know. I did take a picture at the beginning of it, and I will take a picture at the end of it just to see how the results have been, at least physically. Mentally, you cannot see that. Those are not changes that you're able to see, but you're able to feel and you're able to notice. And those are like the scars that people cannot see. Sometimes they are the most important. But on the topic of drinking, one thing that is there and it is noted, it should be without saying it because of the diet part, but no alcohol. Alcohol is not permitted for this one. Why? Because why not? If you need alcohol, you're already weakening your mind in order to get through this, right? So no alcohol whatsoever when it comes to this challenge. So put that stuff away. So in conclusion, I want to challenge everybody to challenge themselves. Even if it's not with this challenge, it could be in any way, shape, or form. You don't have to do 75 days. How about you start with 10? If you've never done anything too difficult in your life or change your complete lifestyle, try with 10 days. Let's see how you do your first 10 days. If you're able to succeed and you feel better with yourself, bump it up to 15. Then bump it up to 20. And before you know it, you're going to start developing permanent habits. And that is extremely important because most of the time, the things that set us back are our own personal habits. So without further ado, again, just 2 45-minute workouts daily. One of these has to be outside. Choose the diet and stick to it. Drink 1 gallon of water a day and read 10 pages of a self-help book, a self-improvement book. Okay? Alcohol, leave it alone. You will live without it. Trust me. You can live without alcohol. You cannot live without water. Just word to the wise on that one. And that is it. That is it for this episode. I appreciate everybody that stuck by it. Very short episode on this one. It's just a little bit of a recap of what's going on in my life and what I'm doing to get through it, which is challenging myself. Like, I don't stop. I don't stop. I'm like a machine, man. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to try to keep being harder and harder every single day, even when the environment doesn't necessarily require it. So to all my solutioners out there, please do me a favor and share it. Share your thoughts, share your comments, share this with your friends. We gotta get this growing. We gotta get this ball rolling with this podcast, man. A lot of good information, a lot of information that a lot of y'all already seek from me anyways. Why wouldn't you want your homies to know it too? Or your parents or your cousins or your family members? Why wouldn't you want them to know it too, man? Now you're being selfish. Now you're being selfish. Please share the podcast. And yeah, that is it for me. And I am out.